Hi everyone, welcome into our live stream. We are so happy to have you in today. We are at our Welland campus and we are here live, so we're very excited to see everybody. First off, I think it's important that I introduce myself. Hi, my name is Kendra. I am a member of our domestic student recruitment team, but I'm also here to moderate the session and help everybody navigate through the questions. Speaking of questions, I want everyone to know that this is an interactive session. I want you to get your questions answered and I want to be as transparent as possible. So if you are not familiar with the format, we do have a chat where you're able to answer and ask any questions that you might have. So make sure throughout the session tonight that you're putting your questions out there and we'll make sure that we're getting the answers to you. When I say we, it's not just me. I'm actually with an entire team of people. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, okay? Starting with yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriella Ficini, and I am a Global Business Development Manager for International. So I'm here to answer all of your international questions. If we've got international students, please do put on those questions in the Q&A so that I can answer your questions. So I am in charge of helping you come from all over the world to Niagara College.
How long have you worked at the college?
Oh, just 7 months, but yeah, so I hope I have all the right answers.
Oh, you will. Don't worry. Moving on down the line.
Hi, I'm Marissa. I'm a financial aid advisor at the Welland campus. I've worked here a little over 17 years, so I'm hoping I have all the answers for you today. And I'm part of the financial aid team in Enrollment Services. And we assist students with the Ontario Student Assistance Program, which is the government grant and loan program. We help students with scholarship and bursaries, and also just assisting students with different options if they're struggling financially while they're a student here. And so we help domestic students with anything financial aid related.
Perfect, thank you.
Hi, my name is Nadia Galata. I am the admissions coordinator for domestic admissions. I have worked at Niagara College just about as long as Marissa has, so about 17 years as well, and I'm full of good answers. So admissions, basically, we are helping every domestic student apply, work through their admission requirements, get accepted, confirm, and all the way into the first day of classes.
Wow, so we have a ton of people here today who are going to be able to answer questions for you. You might be wondering, how is tonight going to work out? So we've actually broken it up into different segments. So that's not to say that any questions that you ask now won't be answered eventually. We are going to leave some time at the end to answer any questions. But just to keep us going, we've kind of broken it up into a couple of different segments. The first one is going to be, how do I get into college? The second one's going to be, how do I pay for college? The third one is going to be, what do I do while I'm here? And our wonderful guests are going to answer those for you. That's not all we're actually doing tonight. We're doing quite a lot. We're also doing a little bit of a giveaway. So if you are familiar with our website, niagaracollege.ca, you're going to want to go to niagaracollege.ca/livestream, where you're going to scroll down to the bottom and you're going to see all of the details for the contest that we're running. We're actually giving away not one, not two, not three, but 20 domestic applications and 20 domestic or international applications. So quite a lot of stuff going on there for you. So if you haven't applied yet and you're just starting to think about the college, don't worry, that's where we're going to be able to help you apply and get everything sorted for you. But all of the contest details are going to be at, again, niagaracollege.ca/livestream. I think that they have heard a little bit too much from me so far, so I think we're going to move into our very first segment. How do we get into college? All right, so we have a question that has come in. So the question is an admissions question, so I'm gonna be looking at Nadia for this one. I received an offer of admissions, but it says it's conditional. What does that mean?
Okay, so first of all, congratulations on your offer of admission. That's so exciting. Basically, a conditional offer is an offer where we are waiting for your final grades or proof of your graduation from high school, most likely. So if you're enrolled in high school, if you're enrolled in one of the courses that are required for admissions, then that's where that condition comes in. All we ask is that you complete everything and provide us with a transcript before the beginning of August, just so that we have time to get you enrolled in your timetable.
Perfect. If someone is applied but they haven't seen that, where should they check to make sure that they've got everything sorted for their application?
So everything is available on their student portal at www.niagaracollege.ca/mync. You can use your student ID number and your date of birth to log in. basically one day after you apply, admissions does email that information to you. And you can log in and you can see what transcripts we have on file, which courses you have or which may be missing. And you can also see if you've received an offer and what kind of offer it is, if there's a condition on it.
Sounds like the My Future NC is pretty important.
Everything you need.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to move on to the next question. So the next one is, I applied for dental hygiene. When will I hear if I've been accepted?
Ooh, okay, so dental hygiene is a competitive program, the most competitive program at Niagara College, but there's a few. So competitive programs, you can actually see which program is competitive and which program isn't competitive by looking on each individual program page at Niagara College. Or through our program availability webpage. They're also all noted there. We'll be making decisions on competitive programs about mid-March. Okay. Yeah. And students will be notified by email, by mail, and on your student portal.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds like the student portal is important for domestic students.
Absolutely.
Equally important for international, I'm assuming?
It is equally important for international students, although there may be different kinds of conditions for international students that potentially are linked to their English language proficiency. So that might be a condition that wouldn't exist in the domestic students, but definitely in the international students. But we do also do conditional offers for international students. Yeah.
Awesome. Is there a place online that you want them to go to for any questions like that?
They would log into MyNC just like domestic students, and there they can see their offers and any conditions that still exist. But the deadline for submitted conditions is much earlier because they have to apply for a study permit. And it's always best to do so. Well, you cannot do it with a conditional offer in English. You could do it with a conditional offer on completion of high school, for example. So it's a little bit more complicated, but certainly students can go to international.niagaracollege.ca. There you find all of the information about international, including the regions that we have specialized people in each region. So I take care of the Americas and the Caribbean, and my colleagues have different areas in the world. So you can connect with us directly and we can walk you through a conditional offer or any questions about your offer.
That's awesome. Thank you. There is also that for domestic students as well. I'm just going to shamelessly plug domestic recruitment for you.
That's fine.
We do also offer that as well. If you go to niagaracollege.ca/recruitment, you put in your city, and then you can also be connected with one of our domestic recruiters for a one-on-one appointment, similar to what they do in international.
Yeah.
Perfect. I have a really lovely question. I was accepted. What do we do next?
Oh, well, again, congratulations on being accepted. So basically the next thing is to confirm. That's the most important. Students have until May 1st to confirm, and you can do that online at ontariocolleges.ca. After you've confirmed, you'll receive an email from the admissions team thanking you for your confirmation, and we'll give you a little bit of information about what's to come next. But the big things will come in mid-May, when we'll send you all the information that you need about paying your tuition deposit. There'll be some information about residence in there. There'll be some information about housing, about lockers and parking, and anything else that's important to get started at the college. So watch for that in May.
In May. Perfect. So there's probably a lot of important dates when it comes to application. Where do you want us looking for? We'll go first domestically, and then we'll talk about international.
Okay, so if you are going to confirm to Niagara College, then in May, part of that package that we're going to send you is a big checklist. So that checklist just shows you every single important date that's going to be coming up for you in order. So you just have to follow along. If you haven't confirmed your offer yet, or you don't have a copy of that checklist, everything is available on our website. You can go to niagaracollege.ca/dates. There's lots of important dates there, including application deadlines, submission of transcript deadlines. There's all the important dates for the term starts, and I think tuition payment deadlines should also be in and around that area too. Yep.
Yeah, important place to go.
Yep.
For international students, where would you want them to go to?
Well, the deadlines are very different for international. Once you have been admitted, again, congratulations on your offer of admissions, but you do have a very short timeline to accept your offer. Normally about 5 to 7 days, because you have to send a tuition deposit to secure your seat, so that we can send the official letter of acceptance and the provincial attestation letter. We call it PAL for short, PAL. And in order to get those documents, which international students will need to apply for a study permit, they need to send a deposit, and then they have to also confirm which program they're going to be attending. So sometimes if they applied for more than one program, they may have two offers, but they really have to hone in and decide and make a decision on the program. So the timelines are a lot tighter because they have to apply for a study permit, and study permits timing and processing varies from country to country. But it normally takes anywhere from 6 weeks to as long as 4 months. So we don't have the luxury of having that much time. So international students need to move quickly. And yeah, there was a question that came up about what happens if a student, for example, doesn't have enough English? Is there a way to improve their English to be able to be accepted by Niagara College? And the answer is yes. We have an amazing English for academic purposes English program where you can come and you can study English first, improve your English to the level that you need in order to be able to pass an international exam that will allow you to be accepted at Niagara College. We also have English online. So, if you don't want to leave your country, you can start from your home office, anywhere you are in the world, studying English with Niagara College. We also offer some wonderful short-term English programming where you can come in the summer and have an experience, or you can come for a semester. They're all English programs. So if your English is not there yet, don't worry. We'll make sure that we'll offer you the right program so that you can improve your English and be accepted.
Nice. Another question has come in. What happens if I miss the document deadline? We'll start with international and then we'll move to domestic.
Well, if you miss the document deadline, you could potentially lose your seat. So we have a limited number of seats that are allotted to international students. So it's always best not to miss your deadline. If a seat is still available and you miss the deadline, but you're now confirming, if a seat is available, we will confirm at that point. But in order to make sure you don't lose out, then it's best to meet the deadline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How about for domestic students?
Okay, so it's very similar. Obviously, it's important not to miss your deadlines. We don't encourage it. However, it depends on the deadline. It depends on what type of document you're submitting. If you're submitting a transcript and you have applied to a competitive program, deadlines are strict. So if you have applied to a program like dental hygiene and you'd miss the transcript deadline, which is February 28th, very important. Unfortunately, that often means we can't consider that document, which usually will then mean you can't consider the application this year. So again, if you're applying to a program that's competitive, it's really important, don't miss that deadline. However, if there's space available in a program, then of course we can often consider the document late. For things like tuition payments, if you happen to be late on a tuition payment, it depends again on the program and if there's space available. What we ask is, or what we really recommend for everybody is let us know up front if you're going to be late submitting something, and then we can make note of it and we can help you the best way that we can, especially when it comes to payments. Contact admissions, we can help. We can often extend a tuition deadline so that you have more time to get that money into us and not lose your spot.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Speaking of payments, I think this is a great time to go to our second segment, which is how do I pay for it? All right. Questions about payments. So I'm looking at you, Marissa. So let's see what the first one we have in. This is a good one. When and how can I make a payment?
Yes, as we've kind of already heard, that sometimes once you're accepted and confirmed into a program, you have to make a tuition deposit. So for domestic students, once you've confirmed your offer, you are able to log in to your MyNC portal, and there's a widget called My Financials. So you can actually view your invoices, your due dates, and access all that information there. So a $250 deposit is required for each semester for domestic students. So it will outline the due date for that. and then also outline any upcoming and future tuition payments and due dates. So once you're confirmed, you can log in and view that through the My Financials portal. For international, it might be a little bit different. So that was just for domestic students. And to make that payment, there's a couple different options on how to make the payment. So the easiest option is to actually pay through your bank. So almost like paying a bill, whether you do that online or at your bank, you can set it up. Niagara College is the payee, and then your student ID number is the account number. So really easy to set that up and be able to send your payments that way. There is also an option to pay by credit card online, and you can also pay by certified check through mail too. There's a third option there.
Oh my gosh.
But all the payment due dates and ways to make payments are all available on the website. So if you haven't applied yet either and you're looking at tuition amounts or due dates, that's all available on the Niagara College website as well.
Perfect, thank you. How about for international?
Well, if international students are already in Canada, and many of them are, then they can also go to a bank and do the exact same thing. They can pay at any bank with their student ID as their account number. If they're overseas, then we do have a preferred method, which is CIBC. There's a link through international.niagaracollege.ca. You can go to payment information, and there you will find how to make payments. And through CIBC, you can get actually a quotation anywhere in the world in their local currency. And it will walk them through step by step how to make that payment. And remember that there is a deposit requirement. It's larger than for domestic students. It depends a little bit on the region of the world. So that information would come with the offer, how much they have to pay, but the payment must arrive at Niagara College within 15 days of the offer. So it depends whether they're already here or if they're abroad.
Perfect, thank you. Great support's available, I love this. Okay, so Deborah Hall has actually asked us, when do you apply for OSAP?
So the OSAP application, if you're looking at September, which we consider the 25-26 academic year, is not out yet. So you have not missed any deadlines yet with OSAP. The application usually comes out in the spring, so in May. We don't have an exact date from the government, but usually in May it will open up, and then students can start applying online through the OSAP website, which is just ontario.ca/OSAP. And usually the application you do all online, you receive your estimates online, and then students will receive their actual approval amount sometime in the summer, usually in July.
Perfect, thank you. So we talked a little bit about, when you introduced yourself, about like tuition, scholarships, that kind of thing. Can you talk us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so OSAP, which is the Ontario Student Assistance Program, is one support available to students who are in need of funding for tuition or living costs while they're a student. And as we mentioned, that application comes out in May, and when students apply, they're automatically considered for both loans and grants. So if you're not sure what a grant money is funding that you don't have to repay. And then the loans you do have to repay. So when you apply, you're just automatically considered for both. It will let you know how much you qualify for each. And then you can use that funding to pay for tuition, book costs, living costs, whatever you need it for based on how much you're approved for. So that's just one option for assistance for students if they're interested. Another option is different scholarships and bursaries through the college. So we have different awards, such as our entrance bursaries, specialist high skills major scholarships. We have our Strong Students, Stronger Futures award program that's starting this September. We have different current awards for students. Once you're an actual student, come the summertime, you can apply for different scholarships and bursaries as well. And all that assistance is free money, we like to call it. So it's definitely encourage students to apply for as much as they can, because there is funding available for students, and everything can be found on our website too. More information about those programs and due dates and things like that, and how to apply.
Perfect, thank you. I'm sure there are international scholarships as well.
Absolutely. We do have international scholarships. In fact, we do have an entrance scholarship as well. So students that apply now, you need to apply now, you'll get a $2,000 scholarship. Also, if you have a high score in your English language proficiency, like academic IELTS, for example, 7, you could qualify for an additional $1,000. And we also award high academic achievement for students that are going into second term that are able to maintain an 80 average with an additional scholarship. So there's lots of opportunities for international students as well to qualify for scholarships, especially if they're dedicated, good students with good GPAs.
I love that. I also want to again say that it's not too late to apply. I think at this stage, many of us, we're all nodding our heads. Many of us have had that conversation where it's too late, I can't do it yet. It's definitely not. Make sure you're still considering what your options are. Like I said, we're still giving that contest away where if you enter today at niagaracollege.ca/livestream, you could actually win your application fee, regardless of your domestic or international, because we're going to give away 20 of each. So still lots of time to apply and lots of time to do all of this process. Nothing is too late for you yet. Don't worry. I think we have a new question as well. Are the fall 2025-2026 tuition due dates available yet, or is that for around May as well? From Michelle.
Yes, they're not available yet. The tuition amounts and due dates will be available in May, but the deposit due dates are available. So usually a first-year student, their deposit is due in June, and then if you're a returning year Niagara College student, that deposit's not due until July.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you. So thank you very much for that. We are going to move on to our next segment as well, which is a little bit about like when I'm living here, what am I going to get to do? Perfect. So I know that the Niagara region, for some people it's new, for some people they've maybe been here for a little while, so they're not sure exactly what they can do and how they can get engaged. I know a question I get asked a lot, so if you wouldn't mind me answering a question on the panel, is how do I get engaged when I'm a student? What am I going to do when I'm here? We actually launched an NC Engage app this year as well, which takes all of the opportunities to volunteer, to go to events, to get involved in any way, shape, or form, and it condensed it in an app for you. And it's available wherever you find your apps, whether it's on Android or iOS. Hi everyone, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we want to make sure that these answers and these questions get to you, so we're just going to keep moving forward. The last question actually is, how do I get involved in our athletics area? And absolutely, we have a fantastic athletics area. We actually just released a new mascot as well, so if you haven't had a chance to see them, definitely check them out on our website. So we do have several different ways to get involved with our athletic facilities. You can do varsity sports like volleyball, basketball, soccer, golf, or you can even do one of our recreational leagues. Varsity teams are competitive, so you do have to kind of go on and do a tryout, and there's several ways to do that. Getting in touch with our team via the website is the easiest way to do it, but you can absolutely, if you are someone who is competitive in high school and you want to see if you can transition that into college, absolutely go ahead and contact the coaches, and you can find them on our webpage. Also, another thing that we can do is recreational leagues. So recreational leagues are a little bit less stressful. They're a little bit more for fun. So if you're someone who played, but it's just a great stress reliever for you, you can absolutely do that. We have a barrage of different opportunities for you, as well as also in our gymnasium, there is open fitness hours. So you can we can use our fitness facilities, we can go just do a quick workout, or you can even go into our gymnasium, rent a ball with your student ID card and shoot some hoops, or play a game with your friends, anything to kind of help you get involved with them. They're very happy to do that for you. So that's how you get involved with our athletics. Anybody involved in athletics here? Do we have any sports goers? It's okay if the answer is no.
We can watch.
We can watch.
It's fun to watch our varsity teams.
Yes, we are the key spectators for you. So another question that we had is, what's the Niagara region like? Are there things to do outdoors? What's the climate like? Especially for people not from Canada, what's the region like?
Amazing. I mean, one of the things you have to remember is that we receive about 13 million tourists every year. We have over 2,800 tourist attractions. We have over 100 bike trails. We have beaches. We have festivals. We have casinos and wineries, over almost 100 different wineries. There is so much to do in this area. There's actually more things to see and do than you would find in the big cities, but we're very close to the large cities. So living in this area opens the door for a variety of opportunities, both in nature and cultural, right? I mean, we have theater, Stratford, and so if you want to see Shakespeare, you can do so here. Musicals, everything under the sun is here because we host 13 million tourists a year. But there's only 600,000 people that live in the Niagara area. So lots of opportunities, again, for our students to get part-time jobs because we have to give service to all of these wonderful events that happen around the Niagara area.
Perfect. I feel like I learned something. I've lived here for so many years and I definitely learned something. How about the two of you? What do you like about the region?
She did a wonderful job summing up the Niagara region, but I do love all the hiking trails, especially you can go along the lake, you can go along the escarpment. It's a great little area that feels like home, but you're not too far away from other things too. You can jump on the GO train and go catch a Toronto Maple Leafs game, or go over to Buffalo to go shopping or something like that. So everything's really close, but yet we're in like a smaller city that doesn't feel as crazy as a big city.
Absolutely. How about yourself?
Oh, well, I was really excited to hear you mention the beaches because there's so many nice ones around here, especially Port Dalhousie. It's super fun in the summertime. We go down there all the time just to take a walk down the pier. It's beautiful. It's fun. In the summer, they have great concerts. They have like food trucks that come. We just love it. It's a great place.
Yeah, I've lived in the region for about 8 years. I also feel like I've learned something, but I really I'm originally from a small town, so I really enjoyed that when I moved here. Like you said, it felt like home, but it didn't feel overwhelming, and it had a really good balance of all of that. So it sounds like we're all very firmly in love with the Niagara region, and I definitely appreciate it.
It's also more economical than living in the large cities in Canada, so students can save money by living here. That's very important.
I love that. I think we're going to move on to our next segment, which is going to be segment 4, which is going to be some more general questions that you might have for us. Perfect. So we are going to move into some more general questions that may not have been covered in our previous segments. So a big one that keeps popping up is, does the college offer mental health and wellness support? We absolutely do. We have a very, very well-versed mental health office, the Health, Wellness, and Accessibility Services office, where everybody is actually able to speak to a specific counselor about whatever's going on with them. You just have to make an appointment. They also have several resources, both online and in the office itself. If you are experiencing anything going on, you can absolutely talk to them. There's a 24-hour helpline, as well as other additional services that they have. All you need to do is go to the webpage again and go to our Health, Wellness, and Accessibility area. Or if you're in person, you can definitely come to the office itself and talk to someone. Do you have a health and wellness for international students?
Absolutely. We have an international center at both our campuses that specializes in the needs of international students. And international students have health insurance through GuardMe, but they also have a program called Keep Me Safe, where they have access to counselors 24/7. So they can use, of course, the services here at Niagara College, but they also have additional facilities that they can draw on, because as you're changing countries, you could be homesick. I mean, things are different. There could be more opportunities for students to suffer through the changes. So we're here to help them. The International Center helps with mental health. We help with housing and settlement. We help with immigration questions about study permits or postgraduate work permits. We help with questions about how to get places, right? Because Canadian students know, how do I get a SIM card? Well, the international students need help with that, or about the transportation system. There's many questions international students have that to you and me who are Canadians seem, non-questions, but for international students, they need that special help. So the International Center is where students go to be sure that they will receive the help they need for mental health or anything else.
Perfect. Another question we definitely get asked when they're on the subject of mental health is independent education plans, or IEPs, or letters of accommodation, which is absolutely something you can discuss with us as the college and see how that might transition into high school. Health, wellness, and accessibility services also handles that too. So if you do have something in high school and you do want to talk about how that's going to transition into your post-secondary, absolutely make an appointment and make it early on in your process. That's really important too. You don't want to be already here and trying to fit an appointment into your first week of school, which can be really stressful. So if you can make that appointment in the summer before you come, or in the months before you come, it really sets you up for success. I know our students with IEPs often have questions. Is this going to affect my admissions? So can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So it absolutely does not affect your admission. Admission is just based on the course requirements that we post on our program pages. So whether you have an IEP or not will not impact whether or not you're accepted to a program. But I'm so glad you mentioned it, that it is really important to get in touch with our health, wellness, and accessibility office as early as you can. So certainly in the summer or even earlier if you want, make a call, make an appointment, get all of your documentation in hand, and then and make that appointment to meet with someone. They can help make sure that you have all the right services in place before you begin your program.
Absolutely. How about with financial aid? Is it affected that way?
Through the OSAP application, students are actually able to identify in their profile if they have a permanent or a persistent disability. So beyond learning disabilities too, that can include many mental health disabilities, physical disabilities, chronic illnesses, things like that. So when students do identify on their OSAP profile, they can fill out what's called a disability verification form. So usually that might come up in conversation when you're meeting with your health and wellness and accessibility counselor as well. And so we can work as a team to make sure you're filling out the correct forms. And through that process, when you submit that form to your OSAP application, students can actually qualify for a grant for students with disabilities. So really important to identify in your OSAP profile if that's the case, and we can work through walking you through what that documentation looks like too.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. So again, make sure you're asking for help early and often. Another question that we got is, does Niagara College offer an orientation program for students who are new and are international?
Absolutely, we do. We do it here when students arrive, but we also have pre-departure orientation where we go actually physically ourselves to another country, and we do a pre-departure orientation so that students know what to expect. It's really important to have realistic expectations of what students are going to find when they arrive in Canada. So we take the time to do it in person and sometimes virtually. And then when they arrive, they have an additional orientation that takes place here at Niagara College.
Perfect. We do also have orientation for domestic students as well. Like I mentioned earlier, all going to be on the NC Engage app and walk you through everything that happens during the Frost week that we offer for depending on when you're coming to the school. Another question that we have, are there any co-op, internship, or hands-on learning opportunities? Yes, the short answer of that is yes. Every single one of our programs are based in the foundation that you are going to get hands-on experience to prepare you for your career. One of the really unique things about college is that everything that you're going to learn is directly related to the career that you're going to move into. There's very little fluff that you're going to learn. Everything is going to directly apply to the career. So everything is super based in making sure that you have those hands-on experiences. Many of our programs do include internship or co-op opportunities, and there are people in your co-op office to help you find those. So many include that, but if they don't for one reason or another, maybe it's a health program that can't allow you to be in that situation yet, we try and recreate those on campus. We have some pretty great learning enterprises here on site, both in Welland and in Niagara-on-the-Lake, that mimic what you're going to do in your job as close as we possibly can to diminish all barriers when you're ready to go out and get your first job. So absolutely yes. Anything to add to that, team?
Well, I think all of the programs have some kind of work integrated learning, right? So through the learning enterprises, for example, students don't only learn their craft, but they learn the entrepreneurship on how to potentially be their own boss. So for example, somebody in our culinary program will end up being a chef, but they can work at the benchmark restaurant, learning how to cook and serve and order the meals and everything that has to do with operating a restaurant. So when they graduate, they could work for somebody else, or maybe they can try their hand at opening their own restaurant, right? So Our learning enterprises, we have more than any other college in Ontario, I think. And, you're able to actually practice in a real environment that mimics the labor force and the things that you're going to find when you actually start working in real life. So it's hands-on technical training, experiential learning, work-integrated learning. That is, like you said, what college is all about. And that's why our grads are so successful and they find jobs really quickly after graduation.
Absolutely. I will say I have gone to many of our learning enterprises just as a community member, and I think we're all nodding and smiling. So it's definitely open to the community as well. So it really allows us to make sure we're servicing the community as well, and our students are getting that connection and deep connection to a community as well. All right, I see our final question here is, are there pathway opportunities into other streams or levels of education? Absolutely. Obviously, every program is going to have varying levels of pathway opportunities depending on what you're looking for. We have a lot of Be World Ready experiences, and we have a lot of connections internationally for domestic students to travel, but also there's a lot of pathways that exist just in general for students to go to different institutions and do kind of a hybrid 2 years of college, 2 years of university. Oftentimes, it's a little bit more cost effective as well to start at college. So there are tons of opportunities. We have a pathway website actually where you can just put in exactly what you're going to graduate from, and it'll tell you exactly where you're going to go, and it'll break down the GPA you needed, how many courses, and it's incredibly detailed. So if you already know what you're thinking, if you have an offer in hand, head out to that pathway website, niagaracollege.ca/pathways, and then you can put that in and you get to know where you get to study next. All right, international student support. How early should I arrive in Canada before my classes start?
Well, very often that question is when you get your study permit approved because there will be a window within the study permit that allows you to come in. So normally you're allowed to come in about 1 month before, but sometimes earlier. It really depends on the study permit conditions.
And absolutely, we also want to remind everyone to come to our open house on March 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The entire campus will be open, labs will be open, faculty will be here. You can take a campus tour, you can do a lot of stuff, so please come out. If you haven't had a chance to register yet, or if you are in person on the day, be sure to register because we do enter you for a chance to win a $5,000 tuition deposit, which is a pretty big chunk of change, so we are very excited to have you. Everybody, what's your favorite part about open house?
Well, in my opinion, the best part about open house is if you have your offer of admission and you haven't confirmed it yet, you can come on down to the Enrollment Services office. You'll find admissions staff. And if you confirm with us in person, you'll get some nice swag.
Oh, I love it. How about yourself?
There's just this buzz about campus on open house days. It's just so great to see so many people from the community too coming in, seeing what the college has to offer. We meet with so many different faces and get to meet new people, and it's just a great overall experience, especially if you've never thought about the college, or even if you just live in the city and want to come check us out and see what we have to offer. So,
absolutely. How about you?
Well, for me, I think, we offer over 100 different programs, and rarely do international students that, even if they're in Canada, get to interact with our faculty. So this is a time where the faculty is there. They can answer your questions. You've got some technical questions about, what kinds of technology you need for your program or what you should buy in terms of a computer, or you want to see students from your program and ask them directly about their experience in the program that you're going to be starting. So it's an incredible opportunity for international students who are already in the area to come personally to Niagara and actually meet the faculty, meet the students, and meet us, of course.
Student services fair, info sessions, it really has it all. So please make sure if you can, you have an opportunity to come down and see us on the 29th. I think this is going to wrap up our night. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been truly a pleasure to speak with all of you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are, and see you later.
Good night.
Join us at Niagara College's Spring Open House on March 29th and experience NCLife for yourself. Register and attend for your chance to win a $5,000 tuition credit. Visit niagaracollege.ca/open house today.